autism and oppositional defiance disorder. This is what one parent did. She used the stem cell activation patch on her kids and saw significant behavioral changes. The X39 stem cell activation patch was not tested on children. However, if parents who choose to use it on their children, and if their children are big enough that they could maybe communicate and they're able to monitor them closely, then they could make the choice to do so.
We have been using the patches for 6 weeks now. Both of my kids have special needs. My daughter has Down syndrome, and she was really struggling with oppositional defiance disorder and just a lot of anxiety. So she would like peel all the skin off of her thumbs as like a coping mechanism. And we had tried putting wraps and Band-Aids, but she just could not stop doing that. And the oppositional defiance disorder, it's just like every single thing is a combative conversation. There's just like nothing you could say, let's go get ice cream. And you know that she loves ice cream. And it's like, no, I'm not. And that's just a light example, but it's literally every single moment of your day. So since starting those patches, I would say she's every bit like 70% less combative, which is a really big deal. First week or two after that, she completely stopped peeling the skin off her thumbs. They're completely healed up now. My son has autism. The school was heavily suggesting by like 4 people out of 6 people in his IEP meeting that we should really talk to his doctor about medicating him. And I was like, I don't want to do that. There's just reasons I don't want to. And so I decided to bring him home. I put him on the patches, and within the first 3 days, he just started being super calm. And we actually threw away our high chair this last week because he has been able to sit starting the first week until now. He can sit at the dinner table without running and running and running and running, because I would have to literally like hold his hand and hold his arm at the table and just keep saying, sit down, sit down, sit down. And it was exhausting. And so he can sit through a meal. He had, within the first 3 days, I was able to cut his hair. And normally that is a terrible experience. Like they're screaming and crying and teeth clenching. And I'm like holding him down, which a lot of parents that their kids are on the spectrum or have sensory processing disorder, they can relate to this traumatic experience of haircuts or nail clipping or teeth brushing. There's been no more tears with haircuts or nail clipping since I've cut his hair again. And he just stands there as if, and they're not even the sensory friendly haircut clippers. They're the loud, regular ones. He also started saying new words I've never heard him say before. He started saying his sister's name, saying difficult things like peanut butter. And then he said his first sentence said, I have more water, have more water. And I was like, I've never heard you say an unprompted sentence before. And he would go 9 months without saying one single thing. And in 6 weeks, he says a new word at a minimum of 2 days a week. That's a really big deal. We had been through ABA therapy. He's been in speech. He's been in OT. They've gone and been in hyperbaric chambers twice and nothing. We've been holistic all along and organic food. And just, I was so hesitant to do the patches because I was like, these are certainly going to be expensive and it's probably going to be a terrible experience. And it has been the best thing that I've ever done for my kids.
This is a non-transdermal light therapy patch. No side effects because there's no ingredients going into the body. No interaction with any medication or anything else you might be taking because there's nothing going into the body in the first place. This is for informational purposes only, and I'm not suggesting that it cures or treats those conditions, but I hope it gives hope and could potentially help some parents out.
Patches are so amazing. So my son, Stephen, he was severe and profound autism. So not, the real high functioning. However, he was born normal and did not present with symptoms until 2.5. We delayed some of his vaccines. We do believe he was vaccine injured. However, he, just not overnight, but over the course of a few months, lost all his ability to speak, communicate in any meaningful way, meaning eye contact, gestures. I'm telling you, he was severe and profound. It was quite devastating. And back then, autism was not as prevalent and heard of like it is now. So he got his formal diagnosis at age 6, and we started to pursue more natural routes with him. So when I heard about this stem cell technology, I was really excited because already we had been doing hyperbaric treatments. Over a 6-year period of time, we've done 300 hard chamber dives that at a cost of $300 per dive, plus relocating at 6 weeks at a time. We would stay near a center in Charlotte, North Carolina, and going through, just to get the stem cells. When I heard a patch could do this for, less than a cup of coffee a day, I just was thrilled. And we, began using the X39, and the first improvement we saw, which was the most needed improvement, was his sleep. He started sleeping through the night. This from a child who would wake 12 to 18 times a night. And if he's awake, who else is awake? And it just was really taking a huge toll on my body as well. So that's why, I started the patches with him, and my sleep improved within a couple days. I was like, wow, can this even be possible? Because being sleep deprived for, it was a good 4 to 6 years at least, really like huge sleep deprivation. It was hard to, just say, well, I'm going to go to sleep now and think, well, it's going to be a normal sleep. And I'm 60 years old. I'll be 61, and I am too old for this. And so I'm so thankful. So the sleep was the very first thing that happened for him. But then we started, he was having a normal phone conversation with our daughter who lives out of state. And she's like, Mom, he said hello. He asked me, how are you doing? And we're like, oh, by this time he's been verbal. So he is verbal now. But his sentences aren't complete. Well, now we're seeing really complete sentences, relevant contributions to the conversation. It's mind-blowing. And then we had a stranger come into our home. Usually he'll hide. He's not very social, and that still is our main issue, wanting him to be more social. But the stranger came into our home and he was engaging with her, and we're like, we're just looking at each other. She has no clue. And, we were just ecstatic that he's engaging with this stranger. And then we went to a neighbor's house. And so here's, if you want to show the pictures of some coloring that he did. So I have a before picture that shows what he would do. Charlie Brown, that was his coloring. And you know what? We were okay with that. But on the right, the dog. So I'm visiting with my neighbor in her home, and we just placed these, markers and crayons and, things in front of him. And he went and colored this dog. We were blown away. We have never seen him color like that. And I know it might seem trivial, but we were just blown away that this is happening. And that was, so we started in October. That coloring happened in December. All of these things happened by December. So now fast forward to today, and we have a horse. It's very therapeutic for him. And we go out there 2 times a day. he now has an unofficial job that he's learning to do many tasks. And, at first it was like, okay, having to show step by step, this is how we do it. Well, let me tell you, now he goes in there, he knows what to do. We're talking cleaning stalls, moving horses, cleaning buckets, giving them hay, grooming. He can just, he is just really an amazing miracle. We are so, it's all glory to God. And, so thankful that Jody, our friendship, just culminated because Jody and I saw each other like once a month, most of the time throughout those years. And so she's been able to see, our journey, where we were at, and, and now where we are.
I know. Oh my gosh, it just makes me tear up every time I look at that picture and I show it to people. I mean, that picture just shows the difference in the cognition going on in his brain, and just amazing. A couple people asked which patches. I think you started with X39 and Eon.
Yes, and then I added carnosine for a while, and actually now I've just cut back to the X39, but we did all three: the X39, Eon, carnosine. I would say for about 6 months. So just recently I felt like, well, and to be honest with you, in the summertime, he's like sweating, we're outside, not liking the feel of them on his body. But he does ask for his X39 every morning. He knows where they are. He brings it over. I peel it, put it on the back, on the spine bump. and
you did start him with 12 hours on, 12 hours off, correct?
Yes.
Yes, because he's 23. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Donna.
This fantastic technology is all through David Schmidt. He's the founder and the CEO of the company. So below, you won't find us anywhere else in the world because we're sitting with a worldwide patent on it. And if you drop me a message, my number is below. Then I'll hook you up to the product and help you live a younger, happier and healthier life. So please don't hesitate. Drop me a message or a telegram or WhatsApp, whatever you prefer, and I'll look you up to the product, and I'll be able to give you more information on it. And subscribe to my YouTube channel, and every week you can receive a testimonial of the week of all different diseases, and we'll take it from there and see if we can help you. God bless you, and hope to hear from you soon.